Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Mawa. Welcome to my video channel, podcast, blog, vlog, whatever you want to call it. This is my first post, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to talk about the value of Bitcoin and where I think it comes from. So let's jump right into it. If you look at people like Elon Musk and when they talk about science and the way things and understanding things, is you have to understand them at a fundamental level. So understanding the value of Bitcoin and where it gets its value will help us understand how the whole cryptocurrency community or ecosystem is going to evolve. So I think to understand Bitcoin properly and where its value comes from, you need to first look at the name Bitcoin. The Bitcoin name itself. When Satoshi Nakamoto came up with the name Bitcoin, it's as a way to help people understand what this technology is, because when you hear Bitcoin, of course your mind will automatically go to something of certain value, because it's a coin. So you could think it's a scammy thing, or you might want to look into it to just know what it is. So it starts from the name. The name Bitcoin sort of gives it that financial oomph that you can use to tell people about it, and then people can want to be a part of it because I guess it has a financial gain. But anyway, the point is, fundamentally, when you look at the purpose of the blockchain, when you look at what the blockchain does, being a ledger and a store of value, you have. So basically, what a Bitcoin is that you have a ledger, and each portion of it, you have interconnected ledgers. So, and each box in the ledger contains various transactions. So at the top of the ledger, it has a signature that starts it off, then you have the transactions, then a signature that closes the ledger, and the person, through the proof of work algorithm, consensus algorithm, the person that has that final key to that blockchain is then rewarded with a bunch of Bitcoins, because they're keeping the proof that indeed these are the transactions in this block, and they've not been changed, they've not been tampered with, they're immutable. So how does that help us understand the evolution of cryptocurrency? For instance, I don't believe that Bitcoin is going to be the only cryptocurrency that's going to be in the future. It's going to be there because it's got fundamental values. It's got first move advantage, and it has that sort of anarchist vibe to it. A sort of decentralization. We're going to change the world. For example, if you look at the Genesis block in Bitcoin, it said it was on. Wait, let me look for this real quick. Yeah, it was on January 3rd, 2009, and it said Chancellor on the brink of the second bailout from banks. So it acts as both a timestamp, but at the same time, it could be seen as a political statement that's talking about failing banking systems, things like quantitative easing, exported inflation, currency manipulation. I mean, all these things that economists talk about around the world. So to get to my point, if you understand what a Bitcoin is, the fact that it's a store of value, it's these chains, these ledgers, these accounts, these ledgers of accounting that store this value, then you'll understand that in the future, or as the cryptocurrency space evolves, we shall have cryptocurrencies or different blockchains that will dominate and have develop a trusted economy amongst their users. Let me give an example. When you see people that play video games, they want to trade these different virtual items, swords, maybe a car in the video game. So there will be certain blockchains that will be trusted generally in the world as custodians of these virtual assets, because of their liquidity and their price movement and how valuable they are. So different people will say, okay, I'm going to trade you this sword, I'm going to trade you this car, this virtual item for this particular token, because that token is well recognized in that space. So different blockchains are going to come up, and they're going to have these ecosystems, these underlying ecosystems, such that one token has a very large representation of how much power it has in the system. There's different tokens that have come up with this kind of system, such that one token, if you look at things like Ethereum, they have an underlying ecosystem. Ethereum still has some issues with scalability, and hopefully they're able to roll out their Ethereum 2.0. And then you look at currencies like EOS and yeah, I don't want to drop too many names, but depending on what you pick and choose, but you need to do your research properly. So I think the value of cryptocurrencies is going to come from their use cases, their utility, and how much each token or how much each of those chains represents, how much trust it represents as a chain, those multiple chains within the blockchain. How valuable is the data within that chain? If you look at how data is becoming something that's more valuable than oil, because it's a mover of value. Gold was a store of value, is a store of value, but oil is not only just a store of value, but you can use it to transfer value, to transfer power, to show, because it moves everything. It moves industries, it moves cars, it moves, we use it to run our lives. If you got rid of oil, there's no fuel, there's no plastic, there's no all these raw materials that come as a result of extraction, of oil extraction. So Bitcoin in itself still has sentimental value, but other cryptocurrencies are going to hold blockchains that hold not just transactions within them, but private keys that, or transactions that represent assets that belong to certain people. And these different blockchains are going to evolve and have that value. So essentially, I think that's how things are going to move. So in case you're looking out for cryptocurrencies or blockchains to be a part of, or different companies, I suggest that you look out for those entities or those companies that are building. So essentially, it's looking out for projects that are going to be focused on building projects or tokens that are going to have an underlying ecosystem. For instance, if a company is building their token around data or the trading of data, so in this way, customers or people that want to acquire data for particular uses, like hospitals may want to determine how different diseases develop in people, so they need to have some data to analyze that. So attaching value to that data would be very important. So those are some of the business cases. Very, very few business cases that I've mentioned here, but there's a multitude of things. Everything is going to be digitized in the future. So that's where we are right now, and I'm really excited about how things are going to turn out. I just hope more people get involved and try to understand how things are going to change in the future. On one last thing, people, do not forget to delicately tap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell button that you see right next to the subscribe button. And most importantly, do not forget to leave a comment, because when you leave a comment, I understand better how to provide better value for my audience, and hopefully whatever value I can provide improves your life and your general well-being. Take care, guys. Have a good one.